All right, welcome back to the new SEC podcast. I am Hunter Ziesman. He is Randall Ledet Jr. We are back talking about Tennessee football. AP polls out. Tennessee is at 24. They made the playoffs last season. Pretty good squad. Didn't go the full distance. Look at them this year. The team looks a little bit different. Some QB controversy. Is Tennessee better or worse? Are they in a better or worse position for this season? And do they have a chance to repeat a playoff appearance?
Yeah, when you look at this season compared to last season, one of the things I think about is, did Tennessee really expect to be that good last year? I know they knew Dylan Sampson was coming back. There was a lot of hype around Nico. They expected him to play better than the Joe Milton the year before, but I would imagine they overachieved last season. And I think this season there's still an opportunity for them to play at a high level. We know they're going to be missing out a lot in terms of rushing the football, but they brought in some really good guys to kind of help bring things back up. And they have Bishop coming back at the running back position to kind of replace the 22 touchdowns that Dylan Sampson provided on the rushing side.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Sampson was the dog of the team last year. Deshaun Bishop didn't play poorly behind him, though. 6.1 yards per carry. He just didn't get the same amount of touches. I think he only had about 3 touchdowns on the year. Dylan Sampson was just breaking him loose. He was having a bunch of long runs, bit of a workhorse. So, you bring back some production there. Wide receiver room is lacking a lot of experience. They lost 7 receivers. O-line, kind of similar, a lot of younger guys, less starting experience. The biggest question mark on offense is the quarterback position. You do a QB swap with UCLA. Nico going to UCLA, you bring in Joey Aguilar. Not really a UCLA quarterback, App State quarterback. Now learning his third offense in 1 year. Question marks around him. I mean, do you think he's, better?
I feel like he can be serviceable. It's hard to say, is he better? Because I haven't seen him play against SEC teams yet, but I trust Heupel as a former quarterback himself. Obviously, he's coached some really great quarterbacks at UCF. He's coached some great quarterbacks at this point to date at Tennessee, and the jury's still out, right? I think Merklinger is still in the competition as well for them. So, he's someone who knows his offense pretty well, played in the spring game. It's hard to say that either of these people will be better than Nico, but we really don't know, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought the conversation around forget Nico, we're better off without him. I don't necessarily know if that was warranted. I think that a lot of the struggles he had last season towed it up to inexperience that I think would come into fruition this year, would start to improve. I do think that Aguilar brings opportunity to Tennessee. Bit turnover heavy at times. They finished 5-6 last season at App State. Was great at slinging the ball. I mean, he can throw the ball. Decision making needs a little bit of improvement. So I'm hoping that this offense can find their footing quickly. They don't have a lot of time to necessarily be playing around. They got a neutral site game week 1 with Syracuse. They played Georgia week 3. They don't have time to figure it out. Quarterback competition still up in the air. We're about 15 days out.
Yeah, and I think what will be a crucial piece for this team to kind of help figure it out is Miles Kitselman. I mean, he's a nice safety blanket at tight end that either Aguilar or Merkslinger will take advantage of. I think that's going to be crucial for them to really get this offense driving. We talked about it a lot last season. This offense kind of struggled a lot of times with scoring in the first half of games. You would imagine that people take a leap up, and so Nico's leap going up was probably going to be higher than what Aguilar's could be. But again, it's kind of in the air. Bringing it back to the schedule, I think we talked about it off camera. I kind of like the timing of the UGA games. Their first SEC game, they're playing Syracuse week 1 here in Atlanta, where I'm based, neutral site. So, Fran Brown from Syracuse is coming for blood. But bringing it back to the SEC, I kind of like they're playing Georgia week 3. They have them coming out to Knoxville. Both teams will probably still be trying to figure out what their identity is, and that could play well for a team like Tennessee, who seemingly has less starting offense experience going into that game.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia won't be playing as much hard ball up to that point. Tennessee will have a pretty good game with Syracuse, like an actual, solid game. So they'll have a little bit more solidified, hopefully, solidified position on what their team's going to look like. Okay, we haven't played Austin PA and Marshall. Like, we got a little bit of competition under our belt. They might come in more experienced to that game. Both teams coming in with a new starting quarterback. I think the defense is going to be a better part for this team, DBs especially. I think it's the strongest part of this team because of returning Jamal McCoy and Ricky Gibson III.
I mean, they're returning both those guys. They're returning Arian Carter as well, one of their leading tackler coming back from last season. I love this DB team. I mean, like, you know how I feel about Gerard McCoy. I mean, he was a goddamn dog, right? 4 interceptions last year, just absolute dog, 13 All-American. So I expect this defense to do what they do best. I was listening to Josh Heupel at the SEC Media Days, and on the offensive side, this team has led the SEC in rushing the last 2 seasons. They bring in Star Thomas from Duke. You know, he had 871 yards last year, 7 touchdowns. Running game could be good. Defense should be good. Quarterback's a big question mark in a very loaded quarterback SEC class this year. That could be the dagger that puts them out, that makes them worse than last season potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely could be. I want them to stick with one guy. I don't want to see what happened with like A&M last year, with Oklahoma last year, where you start swapping them out. You don't build continuity.
You got Michael Hawkins coming in. You got Jackson Arnold going back for Oklahoma. It's like, pick a guy.
It's the worst thing that Tennessee could probably do, because then, you know, if you don't figure it out by week 5 and you have the Arkansas, Alabama, you play Oklahoma, you play Florida, they don't have the hardest schedule after you get past the Georgia game. You know, they got tough games built in there with Alabama, Oklahoma, and Florida. But you don't want to be in a position where you're bouncing back and forth. You know, you do have experience in Aguilar. He played a game at Clemson last year, didn't do too bad, you know, put up 20 points. They still got dogged in that game. But, you know, you have some experience. So I just want them to stick with one guy. If it's not Aguilar, then so be it. But, you know, the win total 8.5. Are they better or worse than last season? I'm going to say that they're slightly worse, like you mentioned. And I think that it could be because maybe they overperformed last year. I think that they're going to be fine. And I might be singing a completely different tune after week 1. I thought that they were going to be in a tight game with NC State to start the season last year. I was wrong there. They could go play Syracuse and Atlanta and you know, blow expectations out of the water. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, what would be fun for Tennessee fans is if they are able to go 5-0 with a Georgia win. Now they're going to Arkansas, probably sitting top 10. I have them dropping the game to UGA, but I think this team is able to get 8 wins. I think I have them at 8-4 on the season. So record is worse than last season, but I think the Georgia game's one to watch. The Bama game is one to watch, and Oklahoma will be a close one as well. So it'll be an interesting season for sure. And I mean, if they overperform what Vegas thinks at 8.5, now you're in that playoff discussion once again, and potentially, you know, going on the road and playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a couple other teams that are swapping quarterbacks, starting new guys, and we made a similar point that I'm going to make here, where it's a lot of these games that I'm looking at, there's not a game on here where I'm like, Tennessee won't win that game. Like they're going to be, there's an opportunity for them to win every single game on here, no doubt. I mean, Georgia in week 3 could be not that strong.
Yeah.
You know, Alabama, we don't really know what the quarterback position is going to look like. They gave Alabama fits, you know, 2 of the last 3 years. So, you know, you travel on the road there. If you're feeling strong at that point, like you mentioned, 5-0, 6-0, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't think this team will be bad. I just, from where they finished last season, it's hard to see that repeat just at a surface level.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be more of a team effort. Like last year was a Dylan Sampson show, and Nico was able to kind of be in the wings. And this year, it's like you need Bishop to step up. You need Star Thomas to kind of step up in that 1-2 running back tandem. You need Aguilar to play out of his mind, or Merkslinger to play out of his mind, which is very well possible. The defense, I expect them to do what they do. Do they have enough improvement on this team this year from the guys they have on the roster to out roster and outplay the Georgias, the Bamas, the Oklahomas, the Floridas? We'll see. We want to know what you think here of All Nation. Let us know. This is a new SEC podcast. If you like content like this, follow, subscribe, drop your predictions, tell us if we're right or we're wrong, and tune in until next time. It's a new SEC podcast.